why do none of you adults stop for a second to consider that maybe this teenage girl's parents are sending her literally to another continent because she needs a break from your fucking kid?
Whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
Hello and welcome to the 17th episode of Season 4 of Your Mom's Podcast, the only podcast that's worth walking out on a date with one of Degrassi's coolest girls. I'm Avis.
I'm Caroline.
And today we are discussing Degrassi Season 4, Episodes 21 and 22, Going Down the Road, Parts 1 and 2. Roses Are Red, quiet on the set, with special guest star Alanis Morissette. He's so cute. Filming has begun for Jay and Silent Bob Go Canadian A, and seemingly the entire student body is involved. Notably, Hot Sauce seems to have given a very creepy version of Jason Mewes unfettered access to her students, proving once again that she is very much not a girl's girl. Caitlin is going around giving advice again, this time convincing Joey to send Craig to England for the summer. But when Ashley says she needs a break, Craig has a break of his own and takes up residence in the Degrassi boiler room. This prompts a fight between Joey and Caitlin, and with a little help from Kevin Smith, we find ourselves once and for all free from this horrible relationship. We're free!
Oh, hallelujah.
Thank the stars, because I'm so fucking tired of these two. At least they had a mutual understanding that their relationship has been an exercise in futility.
Clean break. It was as amicable as it could be. Like, they're gonna be not really cool to be around each other much for a while, but they'll come around. It'll be okay, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, I think, like, you know, I love this song by The Script, Break Even. It's like, when a heart breaks, it don't break even. And obviously Joey's the one sneaking out into the hall to sob. Not Caitlin right now. Joey's really going through it. He's like,
all right, Craig's got to be the grown-up for a minute.
I actually love that scene, but I think that I am just so fucking happy that these two are not trying to make something that started in 88 as which is around the time the relationship started. Like, I don't need this anymore.
Right.
You've outgrown each other.
Right, go fly free. Joey, why don't you see if you can get Sydney back?
Go find Sydney.
Or date a 23-year-old. That's not creepy, whatever. It's a little creepy, Joey. It's kind of creepy.
I need them to do different things. Like, actually, I love the advice that Kevin gives Caitlin at the end about, like, not settling for someone else's view of the world.
Inside of me, there were so many wolves for this episode. Right? It's like, okay. I love Kevin Smith. I think he's funny,
Mm-hmm.
And all of that. I always, like, thought it was a cool cameo. I definitely think, like, it must have been really weird for the people who were not aware of Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
To be like, what is this thing? But, like, it always, like, I always got a little, like, chuckle out of it as an idea for a cameo, right? And the lore around it and whatever. But it's like, okay, this version of Kevin Smith is low-key creepy, like, and manipulative. The job offer thing, it's a little weird, right? But
Mhm.
and then like the way that he's acting after he finds out she's engaged to Joey is like so childish and like abusive a little bit.
I yeah, their whole post, that whole post, like finding out about the engagement thing, is a really weird dynamic. I don't like how he treats her. I don't like the whole, oh, the next time you come to my room at 2 a.m., I'm getting the second or third base. It's
Right. Like,
weird.
and
There's
even
a
that,
lot
like there
of,
was like some joking there, but it
yeah,
yeah,
there was,
no,
but
it
it's,
didn't.
joking, but I'm quite serious.
Right.
Like
But
it's
then he
weird.
comes in with this like don't settle for somebody else's idea of what your life is supposed to be thing that is really solid advice.
Yes, he's giving like real, like he gives very stark red flags, but
Mhm.
then there's also like, okay, what is the truth? Because he's giving like also green flags. He's giving,
Right. It's very
he's
all over the
boundaries,
place.
respecting, yeah, like,
And I'll be honest, when I did my like post Eli dying rewatch of Degrassi, which was the first time I'd really watched Degrassi since I had stopped watching.
yeah,
Um these episodes left a really bad taste in my mouth for a lot
yeah.
of reasons. And like I stopped really like paying attention to or caring for Kevin Smith for a good chunk of time where I was just kind of like, don't love
Mm,
it. Um,
got it.
I mean, I don't. Here's the thing: I don't ship Kevin and Caitlyn, but I do think that Kevin and Caitlyn is more tolerable than Caitlyn and Joey.
I literally have a note that, like, in conjunction with Kevin, Caitlyn is actually a bearable character.
Yeah.
Like, he offsets a lot of her annoying traits, whereas Joey just seems to like exacerbate them.
Well,
And
and
I
it's weird, right? Because we've talked about in the past, like a lot of the times, it's not Joey that's the problem; it's Caitlyn. Um,
Yes, yeah.
and I mean, I think even here, like she decides she's not taking the job before Joey's had a chance to react.
Hmm. And I think, like, to an extent, it's like she wants the same thing that he gave her before, where it's like, oh, go. Even though before she wasn't sure about whether or not she wanted to take that opportunity. And he was like, this is good for you. I'll be here. Take it.
But she once again didn't like give him the opportunity to be like, "Oh, that's great, you should do it."
Yeah.
She's just like, "But of course I'm not going to do it. We have a family, blah blah blah." Um,
So he thinks that's what she wants
right.
because that's what she said.
Um, but back to like the Kevin Smith of it all.
Hmm.
It doesn't like turn me off of him overall the way that it did a million years ago, but it is still like none of it sits well.
I don't like the cat, and I mean, obviously, some of it is the culture at the time, and I mean, to an extent, the culture now, but just like all of the teenage girl jokes were
Right.
just,
No, that's a huge part of it. Like
that's
the Caitlyn part of it is
right.
definitely some of it too. Like it's stalkery and
Yeah,
manipulative and like toxic.
right.
And like, yeah, she shouldn't be like leading him on the way that she does. Like,
But he can tell that
because
she's
he's
got a
not
lot going
really trying to
on.
make moves on her in the bar.
No, she is very much
She's
like
gone
in
from being
her
like not that into him at all to like, I'm
to
gonna kiss
just
you right here,
pumping.
right now.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, and he is like, this is cool, and because she's so decisive about it, he's like, maybe this is what she wants, and
and
he's just going with it.
and
But
he's like certainly entitled to have his feelings about that behavior. The way
hmm,
he responds to it, don't love. And yeah, the teenage girl jokes we have to talk about. And it's not like, I mean, I don't know how involved Kevin Smith was in the writers' room, but
hmm,
like while this is the most blatant display of it, it's not like Degrassi hasn't been pro grooming. Like
yeah,
we're going to talk about it a lot over the next several seasons. We've already talked about it. Like,
Yeah, the whole like, and I mean a lot, the scenario of like, um, Jason Mewes's character and Apollonia Manny's character, um, of like, oh, will you wait for me until I'm 18? It's like, it's supposed to be very hokey and everything, but that's like a hokey version of actual conversations
right.
that,
Right. And it's like, and it's made extra creepy by the fact that yeah, it's creepy enough when it's Mr. Oleander, who arguably, like, your fucking prefrontal cortex doesn't fully develop till you're like 25. So like, he's still young.
mm-hmm,
He's too old to be dating a high school student that he's teaching, or a high school student period, but like, he's
right, but
still young and
he's
stupid. Whereas
still fucking underbaked
Jason
himself, yes.
Mewes slash Jay is a grown ass man. Like, that's a man.
No, actually though, that's a man. Um yeah, I really don't like it. And especially like, the points in the scene where Caitlin is playing the science teacher and they have to cut the scene so that the other the clipboard girl,
Who is
the
Kevin
clapboard girl
Smith's
can
wife,
be. Oh,
right? Isn't she
really?
a
That's
babe?
why she's
Kevin
beautiful.
Smith, watch out, because
Okay,
Davis is
so
coming for your wife.
um hot mama alert. But no, she is like, Ellie is just sitting there and Jason Mewes is like, has his hand
On her leg.
on her, and on her, at least she's like, can you get your hand off my leg? And it's like, Ellie is a junior at this
Right.
point.
And it's like, I don't feel like that would even be like, they're sitting behind a table in a science lab. Like, you can't see that his hand is on her leg for filming. It doesn't need
Right.
to be there.
Exactly. There's no he's just being creepy. um I don't it, yeah, I the whole, and in the poem, when you, well, not the poem, the recap, when you said that like basically the whole student body is involved, I think it's crazy that they have JT running around doing like production shit, and
Right.
they like, I don't know, like the extent to which they pulled the talent of this student body. Is this what happens? Does this
I
ever
don't
occur, or is it supposed to be like, oh, it's Kevin Smith
I
doing what
feel
he
like we've
wants
got
type
to
of
be
thing?
violating child labor laws. I mean, maybe those are different in Canada, but like, it's not, none of it is particularly realistic. Like, yeah, you might have the whole
No.
student, like, offer the whole student body the opportunity to be like extras in like a big scene.
Mm-hmm. But you
But
wouldn't like necessarily contract one of the students to play a major role, because most of them wouldn't be actors or actresses. And
that I'm willing to, like, okay, Manny's a good actress. She's Manny Santos. If I were a film director
I
and I
think
walked into
Ellie
a high
did really
school,
good
Ellie
too.
did a good job too.
Yeah.
Paige did not.
Paige did not. Paige was terrible. But to be fair, I think her part was really one dimensional anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know why she chose to speak that way. Um, but that made it worse. That made the already terrible dialogue really bad. To hear, like, in my ears, like, I don't want to hear this. Yeah. Ugh.
Um,
I just, it's the whole filmmaking process is a little weird, but I mean, we can suspend
it's a
disbelief,
little
or
bit
suspend our belief for I
it's
mean,
a little
some of
bit
it.
like Wattpad fan fiction
If like what people who have never made like a movie before think this
would
is how
happen
a
if
movie
Kevin
is
Smith
made.
came to your high school to make a movie.
Oh, this, well, yeah, oh,
Like,
Wattpad fanfic.
the whole episode is
Yeah,
very like,
and it's crazy. It's This is canon. Like this,
all this happened.
all this happened. Craig, just, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
so like, does Kevin basically like, because Kevin does play a role in the B plot as well, or the A plot as well. So does Kevin basically except that Craig won't be working on his movie now because he's encouraging him to go to England.
You can write songs from England. And I'm sure that
I
if Kevin Smith
know.
needs you to record songs, Kevin Smith knows somebody in England who can hook you up with a recording studio and a team.
So there was no implication that Craig was losing that
Yeah,
job.
no, I don't think Craig was losing that job. I think Kevin Smith was just like, no, go chase the girl.
Okay.
It's also
Hmm.
weird that this like random like grown man just swoops into Degrassi and like starts like influencing these
Giving
kids'
sage
lives.
advice and
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I guess they let Caitlyn
He
give advice though, so like, why not Kevin Smith?
Caitlyn's giving like unsolicited advice.
Caitlyn should never give advice.
You want to know what I think?
No,
No.
no, no.
No. No. Um
Are you ready to move
yeah.
on to the A plot then?
Yeah, cuz I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
cuz Caitlyn and Kevin both like greatly fuck with the events of the A plot.
They do. I know it was complicated to take notes for all of this. I feel like, did we talk about
Yeah.
the teen girl shit enough? I
I
really
don't
don't
well we
like
can
it.
I don't like
And
it.
it
I
was
feel like
everywhere. Like, this is not even a condemnation of Degrassi. Like, it is. Like, do better.
it is do better, but this was a cultural thing. This was something where teenage girls were dating 20 somethings and being hit on by grown
We're
ass
getting
men, and it was okay, and ogled by grown ass men, and it's okay, and it's a joke. Not even okay, it's a
I
joke.
feel like
I don't know that
I'm
it's
not the
necessarily as
slightest
much
bit
of a
inclined to
joke.
believe that it's not still pretty prevalent. Like, I don't watch teen
Oh
media
yeah, I think
now,
it's
but
prevalent. Yes, I don't know that it's as much of a punchline
hmm
anymore, but it definitely is big. Like Coach Carr, step away from the underage girls. Like that's not like, is that objectively funny? Um, I feel like the structure of this of the statement is like Coach
okay.
Carr,
I mean,
step away from the
I
under.
don't want to get
Yes,
into
but no.
a whole thing on Mean Girls because I have a lot of feelings on Mean Girls. But I do think that like
Dissertation on Mean Girls.
I do think that like okay, on its own, like okay, there's that Caroline sigh. All right. On its own, there is the potential to satire, that's the word I'm looking for. A lot of people
Yeah.
can't do satire well,
Mm-hmm.
and so it just comes out as like making jokes about fucking teen girls or whatever other thing, instead of the joke being it's gross that you are doing this thing, like you
I
are the
think that
joke.
was
And
the.
I think that's the intention in the Mean Girls thing. I think it gets complicated because there's so many
Mm-hmm.
layers to like how poorly that movie has aged, and like the sexualization of young
Yeah.
Asian girls
Yes.
factor shifts that, but
I mean,
like without all the
I mean,
context,
even at the
yes, it's
time,
objectively funny.
right? Without all the context, it's objectively funny. But I think even at the time, like, it was not seen as satire because it was so deadpan. A lot of people didn't think like I was in Catholic school at the time, and they actively boycotted the any of the students
Well,
in my school seeing the movie. Like it was very much like, this is filth and this is
okay,
indoctrinating
that,
our children with
like
filth.
there's always going to be people who don't get satire,
Mm-hmm.
um and unfortunately there are more and more of those people now.
Mm.
Sexualizing girls is really, really harmful. So, if
Yeah.
you're wondering whether or not your joke about it is funny enough to counterbalance that, it's probably
Mm-hmm.
not. Very few people, I think, are
Most
like
likely
smart
not.
and funny enough to do that well. So, like, just don't. It's okay. You're great at other things.
Yeah. I I don't I just don't care for the tone of we are going to leer at these girls. We're gonna
Right. No.
like we're in here. We're literally like they're you. It's like to and Kevin Smith says to Jay, he's like, oh, that first time it was funny, now it's just sick or something like that. And he's like, you got a problem, and he's like, I know. And it's like, okay, but you literally in this universe have worked with it, and similar to the real world, have worked with this guy on many movies. You know this guy. Why are you taking him to a high school full of actual underage
Right.
girls? Like you could shoot at the high school. You don't actually have to use the
Can
students.
we talk about like that first scene? Because before credits, we get an out of
Mhm.
character. So he's not playing Jay. Because I can be okay with the fact that Jay is creepy. We can,
Yeah,
fine,
whatever. That's
fine,
his
that's the
character.
character.
Yeah.
But we've got Jason Mewes hitting on Ashley. And
Hmm.
she's like, she doesn't
Right.
say a word, but she's so clearly uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there is like, hey, don't let him mooch on your girl just because he's been in a couple
Right.
movies. And it's like, that's not the point here. That is so off the point. Um, hope y'all all know.
If you're a man and you're listening and you want to know how to be a better ally to women, this is a way. When your friends do that shit, call it the fuck out. Don't just
Yeah.
kind of roll your eyes and be like, haha, you're so funny. Don't be gross, dude, or like whatever. Like be like, dude, that's gross. Especially when it's about
Yeah.
a kid. Don't abide that shit.
Yeah. It's certainly gross to like have to sit through because it happens in multiple scenes.
Right.
And yeah, definitely don't. It's like happening in a room full of people and nobody's
Nobody.
like y'all. She is 16.
Right. It's, I don't know. It is.
I don't
It's
know.
hard
I
to
don't I don't know what
watch.
the point, and like all these little moments I truly don't know what they're supposed to add up to because
Wait, that's the thing is like it
like
doesn't. There's no reason for it other than really cheap jokes.
yes. It's no function in the story to have him touching Ellie's leg. It's no function in the story to have Ashley being hit on by a grown ass man in a room full of
In front of
people
her as she's standing next to her boyfriend.
as she's standing next to her
That's
boyfriend. Yeah.
like, if you've never had something like that happen to you, maybe you can't really fathom how humiliating that is. But it's humiliating. And it's awkward and it's uncomfortable and like you're expected to just roll with it and like don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
Yeah. Don't make
Why
people
would you
feel
want to
like
make
that.
somebody feel that small?
Yeah.
Anyway, we know better now? Question mark. Probably not.
Question mark. I don't know. Hands, throwing up my hands emoji. I don't know what we know now, but I know that this was never okay. This was never a good form of humor, especially in this universe. I don't like it. I don't. It has no place, and it's
Right? These
just it's
kids
weird.
are traumatized enough.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's so unnecessary.
Like
And like, full
no,
disrespect,
but
Linda Schuyler, come and answer for these crimes. Thank you for making Degrassi
and
come and answer for these crimes.
come forth ye and speak to the jury. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's not.
It's not my favorite.
This is the main form of humor that we get in this episode because it is a funny, quote unquote, episode. I feel like I got a lot
Oh,
of
I've
shots
got so
fired
many shots
because there's
fired.
a lot of zingers, but it's like I don't like feeling like the girls of Degrassi are being like the butt of the joke, are being leered at, are being like they're already going through it. Ashley already has enough fucking problems in this episode. She does not need to be hit on by a grown ass man.
On that note, should we talk about Ashley's problems in this episode?
Poor, poor fucking Ashley. Craig just decides that he is going to, without conversation, follow her to England.
Right.
That is all different levels of boy, you
It
done
bothers me that Joey doesn't like arrange
ask.
anything before
Well,
he
and
buys the
also,
ticket.
he arranges nothing. He doesn't talk to anyone. He just takes Craig's word for it, even though he has pointed out Craig was just hospitalized 6 months ago.
Right. It's not unreasonable for him to be like, no, you can't go unsupervised across the fucking ocean right now. Like, you can't do it.
Right.
I'm not saying that, but
Unsupervised.
right now is the time.
Right.
Maybe we can go to England for
Yeah.
like a week.
Exactly. Like he and Caitlyn saying like, "Oh, I think it would be good for you to get away," is like, it's not that she's wrong. I just think that like you're saying, like she does not need to go off unsupervised
No,
in a
she's
different
wrong.
country where he can just
She's
in she's wrong in wanting him to go away for the summer by
no,
himself. Not wrong in him needing a change of scenery from the area and like going away and
yeah,
getting
I don't
away.
know that
Like
I
they
even
could
agree with that. I think Craig needs some routine right now. I think Craig needs stability right now.
I think Craig needs stability too. I think that's why Joey go like arranging something with him and
Yeah,
taking him
no, and that
somewhere.
would be yeah.
Um like with Angie where they could all feel like go on like a family vacation. That would actually be normal. That would give him a sense of normalcy. That he hasn't like that he has been trying to work towards. They've all been trying to like be a normal family. That would be okay after a fucked up year, after a whole bunch of shit has happened to him. Like, let's just take a
Right, we
family
found him
vacation. Let's just go away for a
around
week, 2
with a
weeks.
bullet in his back.
Right. He could get away and take pictures because he hasn't taken fucking pictures in
Right?
a while. He could get away for a couple weeks, go to the beach, take some pictures. And like I think that would be good for him to get away with his
Mhm.
family and like not be but like to be like, oh, I think it would be good for you in particular to get away. It's giving like, oh yeah, maybe if you dip out, we'll have more time to talk, like to work on our relationship. I don't know. I just think that she's so short sighted.
Mhm.
She's trying to like be the cool, like, I don't know, mom type
And
figure
I feel for
and
Ashley
just let
because
him do whatever.
Caitlin's like impulsiveness lands a whole mess of
Squarely
Craig
on
on
her
her
shoulders.
shoulders.
Yeah. And it's not. And I mean, already Craig was having such intense feelings about, because he has abandonment
Mhm.
issues, about her leaving and being and wanting to leave without him.
Right.
Um, that he has such intense emotions about it that without him not like even with him being on his meds, he is still having like outbursts and
Well, and like she's
having a
so
hard time coping with
happy
it.
when he shows up. She doesn't want to break up. She loves
No,
Craig.
she
She just
loves
needs a
him,
minute to be able to just be Ashley.
which is very healthy. That I mean, a lot of people do you in a relationship, but I think it's very important to have your own identity, have your own interests, and have your own things that you can do independent from your partner so that you're not making that person your moon, your sun, your stars,
Right.
because that is hard for one person to be every single thing for you and they don't get a moment's peace and a moment's breath.
Especially when that person is a 16-year-old girl.
A 16-year-old girl who really isn't trying to be in this intense of a relationship, but through no fault of her own she is in this intense of a
And
relationship with someone she loves.
she wants to be there for Craig, but she's not good at being there for Craig. Like asking him
She
because
is not.
she's too worried. Like she needs to take a break. It would
Yeah.
be good for both of them for her to take a break.
And like they're like that, just saying like how it's hard, it's impossible for someone to be all the things that one person needs. Like you cannot put that all on one person. He needs someone else to talk to that's not Ashley. He needs a therapist, but he also, like, Jimmy is good with him. Jimmy is able to kind of handle his ups and downs and everything, and Jimmy does not seem to be so like anxious about the things that he says that are maybe a little off the cuff. But any little thing that seems to be a little bit okay, it, maybe not quite in line with what she thinks he should be saying. Oh, are you off your meds? Like, that's her first reaction, is like, I want to make sure you're not
Right, and that's I
going
don't
back and
need you
regressing.
constantly reminding me that I have this thing. Like,
Exactly.
they both need a break.
And she needs to relax. She needs to decompress and have a couple days where that's not what she's
Right.
worried about.
But nope.
Like, because she's starting to be annoying, and like and he's not realizing that that's actually good for their relationship, to have some distance and to like do your own
Right,
thing,
which is
work
why
on
the
your,
adults in your life
work on your
are
song.
supposed to be like, "Hey, chill the fuck out, dude. It's
Right,
just the
like maybe
summer."
it's not the best idea to follow her for 8 weeks of like you have to work on your song anyway. Like, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. Like, you could sign up for some music thing here. Like, they don't do anything to encourage him to seek his
Right.
own thing. They're just like, oh, okay, this must be good for you to follow Ashley. They don't even like, poor Ashley. No one is
Right.
considering
Like, you
how
all
this
know
girl
what
feels.
just happened at her dad's wedding. Why do none of you adults stop for a second to consider that maybe this teenage girl's parents are sending her literally to another continent because she needs a break from your fucking kid?
Yeah,
This is how, like, you raise one of
like,
those boys that ends up killing his girlfriend. And I
mm-hmm,
don't think that Joey's, like, a bad dad or, like,
intentionally.
doing it intentionally, but it's like,
I don't think he's a bad dad. I think his heart is in the right place. He just doesn't, he is not making the best decisions for
right.
Craig and his well-being.
And once
Like,
again, we see
and
him
you
meeting
can,
Craig's shit with anger when he brings him home from the boiler room.
right,
Like, because he's mad at Craig too.
right. He doesn't understand, that's why he's mad. He doesn't understand why he can't,
Do better.
like, he understand. Yeah, like, he's like, Craig, you have bipolar. You need to take your meds.
Y'all need
Like,
to be in
that,
family
and
therapy.
like,
Your on again, off again
they
girlfriend is moving into the house, actually has bought the house. Your teenage
Mhm.
son is recently diagnosed bipolar and just beat the shit out of you in front of your young daughter. Like, y'all need group therapy. Joey Jeremiah, if you are listening,
Mhm.
we will help you find
Y'all
a
do group therapy.
therapist in your area. Like, but
No,
like,
actually, we will connect you with
we will
resources in
do
your
it.
community.
But get your shit together.
It yeah, Craig needs Craig needs a support system, and it's not like he doesn't have one, but it's an informed support system, because it just feels like they are also short-sighted when it comes to the things that actually he needs. Um, and one of the things that, like, I think I said a couple episodes ago, I don't remember in exactly why, but him becoming dysregulated is, it's part of the summer. It's part of him not having classes and his
Right.
normal routine. Like you saying, like, he needs stability right now. He is being destabilized because of summer. A lot of kids go through that, and it's more, in the food insecurity. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, is like, kids aren't getting the meals that they're normally able to get through schools. But it's also like the safety, the predictability of a school setting.
The
You're not
structure
getting
of
that for 2 solid months. Yes, like, your teacher's always going to be there. Like, your class, this is always going to have, like, my schedule is not going to change, from late August to like late, mid-June, whatever. I really feel bad for Craig, because it's so clearly that's what's going on. Like, my girlfriend's leaving. She is a big part of my day. She's a big part of my routine. Like, I focus a lot of my energy on her. What am I going to do? Like, he's just got a lot of time on his hands. His routine is completely fucked. Like, I feel like it's nobody is really paying attention to things that are clearly, okay, maybe we should try to kind of pay a little bit more attention to Craig because we know that the summer is happening and he's not going to be at school and we're going to need to help him fill his time and
Right.
things like that. Like, no one's
Joey
thinking about
is
him.
still not
No
trauma
one's thinking about
informed
him
because it was the
or Ashley.
2000s and nobody was trauma informed.
Yeah. And I feel bad because, like I said, as much as Joey's heart is in the right place, a lot of his execution is off. And he really, like Ashley, is so quick to be like, it's because of, it's because you have bipolar and all of this. Like, it's very much like I'm sure it's exhausting for Craig to be like at
And he
every
needs to
turn.
not feel like the people that are supposed to love him the most look at him and see him as broken. And while
Right.
that's not what Ashley and Joey are trying to say, it's what Craig hears. And they need to
Mhm.
understand that. You know what would be helpful? A therapist who can explain all these big feelings to
Therapy.
everybody.
No, therapy would be fabulous. Therapy, an impartial third party. Angie could sure use fucking therapy. Poor fucking Angie, man.
I
Like,
loved her excusing
she
her and
is
Craig
just,
upstairs.
she's like, we're
Yep.
gonna go. We're gonna dip because this is not for us anymore. This conversation's not for us. I feel for her watching her dad get his ass kicked in her living room and then her brother running off into the streets of Toronto and like having to sit with like a washed up TV personality and make flyers and pretend that I don't
That
know.
you're
I
smart.
just
You're
feel
like, I
bad
would
for
be a
Angie.
better journalist than you.
I can do your job in my sleep, bitch. She's like, I have more personality in my pinky finger than you do in your
I
entire body. Angie is just sitting on some zingers.
I
I
have to
know
give a
it.
shout out to Spinner because I thought that he was going to be still so desperate for friends that he wasn't going to do the right thing for Craig. It's been long enough since I've watched this episode. And I was proud of Spinner as soon as he
Right,
knew
that
that
you're
something
like,
wasn't right.
yeah.
Which, like, Spinner, you're dumb, but you're not that dumb. Why is Craig living in the boiler room of the school and not at Joey's?
He's funny. He's funny that
He's
he
just like,
does
oh yeah, that
not
makes sense.
think that past what Craig said. He's like, and then like no one notices Craig's like manic
It's weird.
behavior. Is it no one notices that Craig is like suddenly talking faster
Well,
and
no, because
suddenly
he
like
went to England.
not speaking like he's speaking like himself when he was like 13 or 14. Not even that. Like maybe 11, 12. Like he's speaking like a younger version of himself. He is very like infantile when he's
Mhm.
manic. Um I really don't know why people don't notice that. And it bothers me a little bit. He's like, "Oh, my eggs are
Right?
done." Like
Well, because Spinner's an idiot. You can't. I don't think we can fault
Spinner is
Spinner
low-key
for
an idiot.
not
But
noticing it. And to be fair, he doesn't really get super manic until Ashley's like, "I need a break from you, bro." And by that point, he's just gotta like get in the cab,
that's true.
and Joey is not trying to see the signs, and Caitlin's an idiot, you know. And so they're just going to be like, oh, well, he's nervous to fly all the way to England or whatever. Like, it
Mhm.
makes sense. It's still frustrating. Like, where is Manny? Manny is on set.
Yeah,
Manny would have picked up on it. Hazel probably
she
would have
would
picked up
have.
on it. Notably, Hazel is not
Right.
seeing
We don't get
down the
Hazel or
road.
Marco. Yeah, we don't get Hazel or Marco in these episodes. I just like how you said about how you were proud of Spinner for like recognizing that something was wrong with Craig. Um, I am proud. One thing I don't get is that he's like, I'm sorry about the band stuff. Is that why he thinks that Craig is upset with him?
No,
He is that like
he
I'm
knows
sure,
it's stuff, but that's the
right?
thing that he can apologize to,
Talk about
and that's the thing that
okay,
he
because like
can.
I'm just like it just seemed like, obviously there's the elephant in the room and it's not.
I think it's
How do you,
probably a way
yeah,
to start the
I don't know.
conversation,
It's,
you know what I
it's,
mean? I like to think Spinner knows he's got more to
yeah,
apologize for, namely, like,
I would like
altering
to
Jimmy's life
hope.
forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Um, yeah, no, it's not. I don't like how no one notices. I also don't fucking like, Skinny's
well, yeah,
ass.
you're not supposed to.
Well, I specifically don't like him because he tells Craig, "Oh, we're going to split the take 50-50," but he's literally just going
Okay, and Craig is a trust fund
like
baby. So I don't really care.
my issue is like not that he obviously he saw a little rich kid he could rip off. Obviously, you know, fuck that rich baby shit, but also he is so like he is playing drums like a child, and I don't even want to say a child because that might insult a child. um it's it's like the symbol, the way that like
Oh my
that symbol
god.
monkey.
No,
Did
I
you ever
didn't have
have
one
one
of
of
those. Those are
those? Like,
terrifying. Did you have one of those in your house?
they
Is
are
that what you had for
terrifying.
toys growing up? Was like
My
with
mom,
like symbol
in
monkeys
my
and
mom's house,
wind up
yes.
teeth?
Oh, I think I did with the
Mm-hmm.
feet. Yes, yes, I had one of those, and no, it's like that kind of like brashness is what that reminds is how he was. You guys can't see me, but I am like imitating one of those symbol monkeys, and I just that's how I feel about how Skinny is playing these buckets. Um, yeah. Also, you did mention about Joey and Caitlin and them not recognizing that he was manic on the way to the airport. Why did they not why did they not take him to the airport when he is an unaccompanied minor flying
It's weird.
internationally?
Yeah, it is. I hadn't thought of that, but it's weird that you would just put your teenager into a cab
In
to
a
fly
cab.
internationally. That's weird. That's so
Why would you
weird.
do that? Nobody would do that.
Caitlin would do
Especially it's a
that.
last minute trip. It's not like Caitlin would fucking do that. Oh, he'll be fine. Craig's a big boy. He can go. He can find an international terminal by himself.
I mean, and
He
he
can
is, and he
this is
probably can, but
very.
also,
He is, and he probably can, but also he's a kid, and you should still be his parents. You're trying to be a
right,
parent to him. You should still accompany him to the fucking airport. Make sure he's good to
right.
go
It's weird. It's
before you
weird.
just
It's fucking
like.
weird.
But we've got to have him just be put in a cab so that he can tell Lou, drive in the cab, "Hey, Lou, we're not going to the
And it's
airport."
not Lou's job, but like, I don't know. You could have been like, bro, how
Lou, do Lou potentially do better?
like I'm not it's not your fault, Lou. You had the least responsibility of any of the adults in this storyline, but I'm still a little disappointed, man.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe some attention could have been paid. Cause the dominoes stack up and then the kid's getting his ass kicked and his guitar stolen.
You could have prevented it, Lou.
Yeah. His Skinny beat his
Yeah, he
ass.
did.
Skinny beat his ass like several guys ago. Like he's beating his ass from several grudges with several different men.
Can
Like
we also
this is not Craig's
talk about
fault.
the fact that it is not appropriate for Kevin Smith to show up at Joey Jeremiah's house?
Yes we can. Cause I feel the same way. I was like,
Like, that's some
ooh, that's in
boundaries
poor taste.
crossed.
But technically, is
I
Caitlin's
mean,
house. But
which
Kevin
also
don't know
adds to
that.
the B plot
Kevin
real
doesn't
quick.
know
What the
that.
fuck happens to Joey's living situation now?
Is that why he slowly
he
fades
doesn't
from
have
the fucking show? Because they don't.
See,
He
and you
doesn't have
thought
a
the
home.
status of Joey's
I.
house was just an unimportant B plot
Mm. I, I wish I knew just what to do
to make your secret wish.
to make their wish come true. Yeah. I have I have no idea.
Also,
This man is heartbroken and homeless. Or
it also
yeah.
bothers me that Craig goes from like maybe a little manic or maybe just annoyed with Jay and Spinner existing and breathing his air to like more and more crazy. And like, yes, we see like the catalyst for each like further break to like mumbling to
Yeah.
himself in a soup kitchen to fine the
No,
next
actually
day.
literally to saying this is fine. This is fine. This is just like Mama made. This is just like
Right.
Mama made. Which is fucking sad as
Right.
shit.
Oh,
But also, Degrassi, do you understand how things
I
work?
know you've only got 22 minutes, but Christ.
But jeez. You have made this man look, he has looked like he has been living in this shelter for at least a couple days. He looks fucked up. He looks worse, and his mental state for just being out
Is
off of his meds for like 36 hours
yeah.
maybe, if that,
Which if you
24 to
got back on
36
your meds,
hours
it would take at least a
possibly.
day, I feel like, for them to kick in, right? For you to really be like, I don't think that you go off your meds, go muttering to yourself in a soup kitchen levels of unstable, and then you what, like pop a lithium and you're fine?
The only thing that just came to mind was Papa Molly, I'm sweating. Woo! I guess that's what we are supposed to believe. He's fine. He's good now. He's stabilized.
Yeah.
He repowered. He's good. Like, no, that's not how medication works. That's not how any of this works.
It's yeah,
Gosh.
this is a frustrating finale.
Suspend your like suspend it all, because if you really want to like have any sort of authentic experience through Craig's like mental, like his through his psyche, you're not getting it. You get a little bit, but it's really, you can't be authentic because no actual person is going to experience this
Right.
in this timeline. That just, no. You need some time. You need some time to get off of for the medication to actually work its way out of your system. And he's been taking the medication regularly for
Right.
at least 6 months. So that's a lot of medication to work. He's built up a supply of the medication, and it needs to work its way out. It's not just going to stop taking it one day and he's done. That's not how
And then
it
start
works.
taking it any
And then he's good. He's good, guys. He's fine.
but they only have 22 minutes and they
No.
had to have something happen for the series or the season finale.
And of course we have to have Caitlyn kissing Kevin, and then, their whole thing. So we don't have as much time to talk about Craig
Can't
and
let
how
this naturally
and his mental.
progress.
It's like,
Because really, they do have like 44
oh, this
minutes because
timeline is
it's a
so
two-parter.
terrible. The timeline is just really bad. But I think that's a lot of our issue with Degrassi, is that the timeline is just,
The
it leaves much to be
22-minute
desired.
format, like where it's linear but not really. Like, or it's not, I mean, it is linear, but it's like, it's still episodic.
It's
It is
linear,
primarily
but
episodic. And it works in a lot of
yeah.
ways. It's part of what gives Degrassi its charm. And it is Degrassi's biggest shortcoming.
And I mean, Ashley got a call in England. She's probably over
Getting
there
the fuck
like fucking
out.
stressed.
This is why she
Like I
doesn't
knew
come
that
home.
something like, and probably
This is why she
blaming
doesn't come home.
herself, right? Blaming herself. Right. Damn, this is why she doesn't come home. She's like, see you in September.
Because
No,
that
you
stresses
won't.
her out, and then
Not this
Craig's okay,
September.
and she like lives her life, and then she's like, oh, it's nice not to have to stress out about my boyfriend all the time, and I'm gonna stay in England and come back eventually with the worst hat
Mm-hmm.
in a show of horrible hats.
Wake me up when like
September ends.
wake me up when Craig is off of the
Right.
show, basically. And then I'll come back.
So she's a sleeper agent.
Wake me up when he leaves and I'll come back. Yeah, no, I feel so bad for her because I know that she was over there blaming herself. Like the minute I leave, he does some shit like this. Fuck it, I'm not coming back.
Oh, this doesn't
Just
fit in anywhere, but it just popped my head into my head, so I'm gonna hoard it in here. We have a correction, which is that last week we were talking about how many Kevin Smith episodes there are, and we forgot he's also in Lexicon of Love.
yes. Wait. What does he do
It's
in
the
Lexicon of
film
Love?
premiere party, and he's there. Remember, because he lets Paige and Alex in.
Oh, right, and she finds out that she gets cut out of the movie.
I think I just
Got it.
called
Right.
Alex
Forgot about
Allison,
that.
but I meant Alex.
Allison.
I've been watching House of the Dragon. So.
Allison. Oh, have you? We had to get because you're all caught up on Grays, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't know how I did that.
Shameful, Caroline.
It's because
you watched an inordinate amount of fucking TV
because
to
here's
get to
what
that
it is.
point.
I can't work, like, I need background noise when I work. I can't work to music, but I can work to TV.
Interesting.
Because it's like I need to be able to like disengage from my work periodically, you know what I mean, for a minute. And so I actually, it's funny, for like as much Grey's Anatomy as I watched, I probably only really watched a third of it. Because I'll be like working, something pulls my focus, watch the scene, maybe watch the next scene, back to working.
Got it.
But yeah. No. Yeah, music, I'm just like, I have to sing along, and then I'm like, get lost in that, and I can't even do classical because I'm like, then I'm like, let my imagination wander.
I'm done.
Okay, vroom vroom.
Let me see if I have. Oh, I have this note that technically Joey kissed Kevin Smith because Caitlyn came right home and smooched on him. And I think about that kind of stuff way too often in movies and TV when somebody like kisses somebody they're not supposed to, then they go home to the person they're really with and then they want to fuck. Because that's like a thing. That's like a thing, which I don't. Why is that such a reaction? I don't know. Craig saying, "Oh, I guess England won't even let me in. They already have Jack the Ripper and mad cow disease." And I'm like, how does nobody know that he's struggling? But what, like, behind saying that shit,
right?
How did no one
We're just
know?
like, let's like Craig do it.
How does the reaction like, let's go buy him a plane ticket?
Because
do you hate this boy?
I do. Okay, it is. I will, like, I have understanding for the fact that it's difficult to figure out how to navigate, you know, in the last few years of him legally needing a guardian, being the parent to a child with substantial trauma who also now has a mental health diagnosis that he's not really dealing with well. And I'm sure that's really hard to navigate. That's why you need some therapy all up in your house, Joey. Everybody needs their own therapist. We need group therapy. You and Caitlyn need couples counseling. Or just break up.
Maybe if, yeah. Or just to break up. No, I think the breakup would be preferable, but therapy abound
Even if they
is
break
needed.
up, Joey and Angie and Craig still need therapy.
Yeah. Um, why do we always need the scene with the mentally ill person throwing away their pills?
Because how else would we know that they threw away their pills?
So many tropes. So many tropes that we've got to. Of course, it's not enough for him to say I'm off my meds. We've got to
Show
see
don't
it.
tell, Avis.
I'm over it. Ah, I don't like it. The Iris Inn scene I thought was very romantic. I thought that was like a sweet sort of
Right. I was like, I wonder if that's a nod to
like
like how he felt when he met his wife or whatever. Right,
oh,
because let's
that'd be
also
very
give some love to
sweet.
Kevin Smith because as gross as the whole thing is, I don't think that's his fault. I think it's the times and I think it's the Degrassi writers and what have you. The Degrassi
Yeah,
universe version of Kevin Smith is not without his
I think
foibles.
the like
I remembered that the
it's
word foibles existed,
quite
so I wanted to work it
trashy.
in.
I love it. It sounds fun to say. I'm not a fan of it, but I get that it's
Right.
not him. Though it is done in his likeness, it's not him.
And he is
I
ultimately
don't
like
like it.
awkwardly charming and what have you.
Yes. He's like, I'm gonna try this again. And then and then JT pops up. He's like, James
Right,
Tiberius.
right. Hot blood by GT.
It's good. Yeah. Do I have any other things to talk about in my deep dive?
Right,
Um,
let's do
the fish bathroom curtain.
what?
I remember the fish bathroom curtain. Remember, do you remember a bathroom in your childhood that had like the
Oh
fish
yeah,
on the curtain?
several.
Why was that?
Because ocean is such an easy, obvious theme for bathroom.
Who
I
made
don't
that
know, but do you want to know what
call?
my shower curtain is? My husband found it on Amazon.
Hmm.
It's manatees, obviously. But the manatees have bunnies and or cats riding them. It's dope.
Mm. I can't I'm gonna
Okay.
need a photo of that. Um I change mine periodically for like Halloween time. It was little gnomes
That's
and
cool.
pumpkins, and
I love
now it's
how
trees,
very
my
different
little
we
winter
are. I would never
trees.
fuck around with
I
seasonal shower curtains.
I did. Okay, first of all, the way that S does not fuck around with me, my house is already basically
You know what
decorated
shower
for
curtain I
Christmas.
want is the one where it's the Little Mermaid, except the Little Mermaid is Nigel Thornberry.
Oh my gosh. Why are there these things that
Because
exist?
we live in a wonderful time. I mean, we don't. We live in a horrible time, but the memes
We
are fire.
and the things that you can have delivered to your door
Literally, like
are quite
any
impressive.
stupid thing you can think of, you can order online.
Any stupid thing that you don't
I mean,
need.
everybody needs a shower curtain.
Um,
Um,
yeah, with Nigel Thornberry's head instead of Ariel's. I think I think my last note was Caitlin's pronunciation of Canadian. Obviously, she's supposed to be fucking up the line, but she's saying like Canadian.
yeah, she just starts to say Cajun.
Can it sounds like it sounds like she's full of like pillows. Like maybe full of marshmallows or something.
Be a
Like she's
marshmallow.
just
We just wobble around with joy.
she's just like stuffed, and that's what it's like. It's like, would you be the great Canadian Jason? It's so
Until Kevin
weird,
Smith is like,
and I'm like,
I'm gonna fire you from my life. give the
Fuck
lines to the
off.
plate girl instead, and then probably marry her retroactively, put a baby in her, whatever.
IDK. Chillin', killing, whatever. Love it. I love to know that that's his
Isn't
wife.
she
She is
so
so
pretty?
pretty. And
Yeah,
she's
no, she's
funny. She's got comedic timing too. She's not just not just, do I get paid? It's like, you can come open mouth kiss me in the trailer. She's like, no thanks. No, that was good. Good little tidbit.
And
Um,
then are we ready to
yeah,
move
that was
on to
my
the
last
fashion
little note.
corner?
Skibbity toilet, Ohio, just biscuit Riz.
Did you say biscuit Riz? I don't think biscuits were are part of it.
What does like say skibbity toilet Ohio Riz biscuit? Like,
For those of people who don't know, which would be everybody but me and Avis, when we were in the hotel in Tennessee one night, I don't know, we did a deep dive on Skibbity Ohio toilet Riz. We still don't entirely understand it. We get the toilet part, and we get Riz is charisma. So toilet Riz is like, you don't have charisma. And I get throwing shade at Ohio as a Midwesterner.
Ohio is
I
quite
don't get the
mid.
skibbity D. It's just skibbity.
It's supposed to be like they were like, oh, it's like not a nonsensical something, and I'm like, then they compared it to something. I'm like, that does not make any sense. So, please, what does skibbity?
Honestly,
Like
I
skibbity
really
bobbity
hope that
bibbity?
nobody young enough to know what skibbity means is listening to our show. It's not appropriate. You shouldn't be
No,
watching
that's
Degrassi.
true.
You shouldn't be listening to us talk about
That is
Degrassi.
so true. Please eject yourself from this conversation.
Take your toilet
but it
Riz
reminded me
elsewhere.
of the. Wait, is it the
I
biscuit
don't know
head?
what
What
the
is that
fuck
whole
the
thing
biscuit came from, Avis.
from Raven? You lip skillet biscuit head or something? I don't know.
I don't know.
I slap
I
that.
don't know.
Whatever.
Do we want to talk
God.
about fashion? Because Caitlin comes in hot with some more lapels.
I was gonna say, I've got her bitch ass wingtips.
Well, and the weird jacket. She never wears the right, like, over shirt for these things.
Yeah, this thing looks so like, it's like is this corduroy?
It looks like it could be.
It could be corduroy, but it's like a brown,
Burgundy.
like, one of those
It might
burgundy.
be brown.
Okay,
It might.
is it
it
my?
could be either brown or burgundy. I feel like
I have my night shift on. Hang on, let me look at it without my night shift tint. I would buy either,
it's
or
brown or
I mean, it's
burgundy.
got a brownish, brown or burgundy, and it's one of those honestly little cardigans that tie in the middle. It doesn't have buttons. It's got just like a string and it ties together. I would like this with like a white simple shirt or something that's like dainty, because this is a dainty sort of jacket cardigan thing. But then she's got this really brash, rude ass, starched ass wingtip
It's again
collar.
giving like
And
I'm dressing up as an anchor woman.
Yeah, and it's like the color is really unflattering. It's like these
Right, it's like
horizontal stripes.
choices were made. Choices were made.
Not vertical stripes, not horizontal. I don't. Yes, choices were very much made. Orange is not the color she should be wearing, and she really starched the fuck out of that collar. I have issues. But yeah, that was my first one. I only have
Okay, what's your
two
next
more.
one?
I was just really pointing at, I guess 3 more after this, but one was just pointing out Ashley's hair. Like, I love the length that it's grown out to. It's like the feathering did not always work for me at such the short length that she had it, but it works for me at like this little, this grown out, length. I like
Yeah.
it.
I had to
Suits
take a
her.
picture of Ellie. In
Yeah.
her like very dark 80s mall goth.
Mm-hmm. Channeling like that, the wig is like giving very poor Morticia Adams costume. I don't, it does nothing for her. None of this does anything for her. She looks like she's drowning in fabric. Conversely, we've got Paige in this like little pleated, baby pink pleated skirt ensemble. I like the top. It's like a sunshine yellow with like tan details, but her shoe is literally a clear stripper heel. Like,
And
it's
then a
literally
boot.
a clear stripper heel. And then a boot. A boot. Get it? A boot. I don't like it. And I know that the clear stripper heel, like door knockers and stuff, they were remnants from the late 90s. They're popular now again. I don't mind door knockers, but like, and I know they get lumped in, but I think this is a clear, like straight, clear stripper heel. Like, this is a very pointed, no high school girls wearing a stripper heel.
Especially not one who's also wearing a boot.
A boot. Her hair does look better though.
Yeah, her hair is looking better.
Can I say that?
Because she doesn't
her
have
hair is
Oleander
looking
rubbing
better
off on her.
We're coming out of these dark times.
My next one is, what the fuck is Spike wearing?
Oh, Spike said, I don't know.
It's like this, like, okay, so she's got like a black maxi skirt with a slit, fine. Then this pale green top that has like a weird tie at the waist, and it's like a sleeveless sweater, swoop neck, and then there's like why I don't like it.
Vetoed. Got it. I felt like most of the people, like even like the only things that caught my eye were pretty much like the costumes in the show, in the movie, and a lot of like what everybody else was wearing was so like lackluster,
which is fitting for season 4.
Yeah, my last one is Kevin Smith in his bowling shirt. When he shows up at Joey's house, he's got like the big black overcoat on, like that's very similar to the.
He was trying to fight Caitlyn on the lapels, but he brought a knife to that gunfight.
You did? Because it's quite comparatively starched.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's just not, it's like part of me misses the era of people wearing bowling shirts unironically, but part of me really doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was a time.
And they're always so loud in color. Like, they're always so, like, can't just have, like, a low-key bowling shirt. You need, like, a bright stripe.
I don't know. I'm okay with bowling.
How are you going to know that you're a
Come
bowler?
back, bowling shirts. I'm fine with it.
Dude, that was, like, 2 or 3 of Bella Swan's outfits.
Okay, and Bella Swan looks cute in Twilight.
She does. First of all, I still sometimes buy things because they look like what Bella wore in Twilight. So don't. And I am proud to admit that. I just bought a jacket, like a parka type long jacket that I probably won't get to wear because it's not going to get that fucking
global
cold.
Warming.
Thanks. I live in New Jersey and it's probably not going to snow, bitch.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, bowling shirts can come back. Avis will buy them all.
I
and live
will.
her Bella Swan best life. You can come up here where we have crunchy leaves and we can run around in the woods, but you can outrun me. You might you
Can I
might
fight you
be able to
off?
fight me off.
Okay.
Hold on tight, spider monkey. I have Heather Sinclair hypothesis, which is the
Okay.
30-year-old high school student with the hip tattoo is back. We see her behind Craig in the lunchroom when he's threatening Jay.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe we see her again in the classroom scene when Silent Bob has the tampons in his nose. I think she's at his like chemistry table.
Oh, okay.
Here, would you like a grainy
Got
photo?
it. I would. Ah, I see
So
her.
I still think
Thank
that the
you.
30-year-old high school student with the hip tattoo might be Heather Sinclair.
I think that's a fair conjecture. Um, all right, are we ready to
Let's
fire
fire
some shots?
away. Pew pew
Pew,
pew
pew, pew,
pew pew
pew.
pew.
Shots fired.
My first one is obviously Alanis Morissette. But I have her saying a few bad movies. I'm so sorry, Kevin. That was out loud, wasn't it?
My first one is past that. At the craft services table when Craig says, "I'd rather eat my own
Mm,
liver than accept food from you two scumbags."
yes. I tagged in Jay saying, Manning, do I need to remind you that I'm holding a big scary knife in my hand? And Craig saying, yeah, watch your fingers.
I have Ellie saying the ick and pathetic.
Mm-hmm. Um, I have Ellie saying, hair director wanted a real goth girl from 1988, I guess. And I have Muse saying, he heard that Marilyn
I
Manson.
have her saying only trying to get Morrissey here to crack a smile. And then
Yes,
after Craig's all
Morrissey.
like, Ashley left me for England, Kevin Smith being like, ugh, the angst. Thank God I'm not a teenager anymore.
Preach. Um, I have Kevin saying, you were very.
I have when Joey's like all excited about selling two SUVs and Caitlin's like, amazing news for you, not so amazing news for global warming.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Um, I have Caitlin saying, sorry, brain dead over here, and Kevin saying, I would not disagree with you.
I have Paige's character in the movie saying, listen, girl fiend, you and your so pubescent boy, he makes the Backstreet Boys look relevant boyfriend can kiss my yoga toned ass. Hold on a second. Chauncey,
Kiss my Yucatan
Beauregard Fun
ass.
Row. I told you when you came in here that you were in it for the long haul, so don't scratch at the door and whine. Sorry.
You came in here, you're gonna
It's like
stay here till
hurling
we
his body
done.
against the door, being like,
um, I have Kevin saying, Spinner, the only thing I know is making a movie with a bunch of high school kids is way worse than making a movie with Ben
Yeah, that
Affleck.
was
Way
maybe my favorite
worse.
line in the whole episode. Mine right before that though is when Spinner comes over and is like Mr. Smith and Kevin Smith turns around and is just like, "Oh my god, who are you now?"
He was done. That take was so good. Craig came and fucked it up. I have Caitlin saying, I think you know what you can do with Tessa Campanelli's address, Snake.
I have Joey telling Caitlin, and you don't think you never have. And I have, do you have
Ooh.
Caitlin in that fight at all? I have
No.
Caitlin. This is dirty, Caitlin. Saying, don't pull the family card because
Mm.
if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even have a roof over your head, remember?
Yo, I meant to say during the deep dive, that's why people don't accept help from other people, because they're worried that the minute somebody's like you're arguing, they're
Right.
gonna throw it in your face. And that's just not even worth taking the help in the first. Like, fuck you. I don't even want your fucking help because you're gonna throw it in my fucking face, you fucker. Yeah, no, I can't stand that kind of thing. Like,
Help
if you're gonna
somebody.
help
And
somebody,
certainly if
help
you
them.
help somebody and then they're a giant, like, ungrateful douchebag to you, not that they need to fawn at your feet, but, like,
Right.
there's a point in which you can be like, hey, I feel like I do a lot for you and you don't treat me well, and I'm done doing that. But you don't wait until you're
Right.
fighting to be like, I bought your house.
So there, bitch. Yeah. No,
She
she sucks.
sucks.
I have Kevin saying, "Do you think maybe a public appeal made by a Z-grade celebrity might help in any way? It's worth a shot."
I have Kevin saying,
Self-firing.
another self-inflicted gunshot wound. He's good at those. Like I ever direct.
Rude. Rude, Kevin. I have, again, Kevin saying, "Go, the
Yep.
adults are talking now."
I have Joey saying who calls themselves, or I have Caitlin in response to who calls themselves skinny saying who calls themselves snake or wheels. That was a double. She went with
Yes.
that pew
And I mean, of
pew.
course, right? Like both y'all dumbass names. But Joey's response right after that is, "I hope this guy's neck is skinny enough for me to break." And it's like, I would take Skinny in
Right.
that fight. I'm gonna put my money on Skinny. Skinny gonna beat that
I
ass.
like when she's like, because Caitlin then goes on to make the very valid point that, like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know this guy.
Yes.
He's
Oh.
probably mentally ill too. Like, he's another Craig. And
Right.
he's like, Craig's not just beating people up on
Yes.
the street. And Caitlin goes, no, he just beats you up at home.
Right. No, he just beat you up at. Ooh. Ooh. Caitlyn got these. Caitlyn is getting below the
Yeah,
belt.
no, second time. Like,
Though she's
there is no
correct. This
lie.
is correct. That no
But, like,
lies
the
were
fact that
told.
we need to
But
face
damn, did
that
you have
truth
to go
doesn't mean
that
you need to
hard?
say it in the middle of, like, in the throes of anger.
Right. Rude, Caitlyn. You rude. I have Kevin saying to Manny, "You are heaven on earth, love. Now get out of my way."
My last one is Jay's character at graduation saying, "You all talk stupid, but you have great beer."
Oh my gosh. My last one is Joey saying, when Craig asks him where he's going, he says, "Home. Sorry.
Oh,
Caitlin's
yeah.
home." Eddie Ash. He's so
Well,
sad.
what?
It's
Of
like,
course he's sad. It's sad. He's single
it's a
and
sad ass
homeless.
situation. Oh gosh,
No,
it
I think,
sucks.
like, I don't think that
I feel
Caitlin's
so
gonna.
bad.
She doesn't. She's moving to LA. She doesn't need a
Caitlin's
house
like,
in
get the fuck
Toronto.
out. She doesn't. She's like, get the fuck out. Just on principle. Like, you and your
Angie
kids
can
on
stay.
the
You and
street.
Craig on the street. Angie's just
Not
like
Angie
living her
could
"don't tell
stay.
mom the babysitter's dead" life.
Oh my gosh, I'm done.
All right, so who is? Let's start with the super bummers. Get the bad out of the way. Who bummed you out?
Uh,
Joey
Joey
and
and
Caitlin.
Caitlin,
I'm gonna say Kevin Smith too
the
because I
Bummer
think he's
twins,
officially a character and not a plot device.
the Bummer triplets.
Craig bummed me out.
He did. He really did. He really did. I feel like he just had such a hard time, but he was a bummer throughout this whole fucking episode, or the just two-parter. Um,
Hatzilakos wasn't there, which normally I'm fine with, but that also bummed me out.
but her pervasive, like her permissiveness, has literally it's felt throughout this entire two-parter because she is the one that let these people in here. How much was she getting paid? How much do we think she's getting paid? Because she's just letting them have like you said, unfettered access to like the entire fucking school
It's
and
weird.
student body. It is weird. They're giving her some fucking
So yeah,
ducats. They better be.
Hatzilakos, even though she's not here, bums me out.
Bums me out. Jason Mewes, but he is a plot device.
Yeah, and it's weird, right? Because
I would
Kevin
say-
Smith
I would
is a
say
character. I would
he's-
count Kevin Smith as a character, but not Jason Mewes. No
but
offense,
Jason's
Jason
not.
Mewes.
He's just there for the shits and the giggles. He's really not
And the
doing
teenage
anything
girls.
character worthy. And the teenage girls. Yeah, ew.
Who shines?
Yes, I mean
Ashley. Spinner.
Ashley.
I'm gonna give it to Spinner.
Spinner. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's ask the question and put this fucking baby to bed. Oh, it's been real season 4.
Yes.
It's
It
been
truly has,
wonderful.
like,
It
bye,
just we
though.
lost some momentum. It's okay.
We did, but we're gonna get it.
Get it.
Giddy
Get it.
on up,
Get it.
back on this horse. Season 5 is a good one, though. I'm excited to move on to season 5. We've got a lot going on, and yeah, we've got a lot to look forward to. But does it go there?
Does it go there?
Yes. Yes, we have a brief stint of homelessness. We have a full-on
We
next
literally
week.
have Craig rocking.
We have like a
We
rapid
have him
fire
rocking in a fucking
multi-stage
soup kitchen.
mumbling. Yeah, gets his ass
Mentally.
beat. No, it goes there.
He literally gets his ass stomped in the street and his fucking guitar thiefed.
And the normalization
Thieveted.
of the sexualization
Oh
of
my.
teenage girls.
It's so fucking prevalent and gross in this episode that yes, yeah. All that culminates to it goes
It goes there. Thanks for listening to Your Mom's Podcast. Join us next week when we'll be joined by our Season 3 trivia champion, Leslie Maddle, for our Season 4 wrap-up. This episode of Your Mom's Podcast is made possible in part by The Dot, View Askew Productions, and support from listeners like you. Boom. Roasted.
Yeah, love it. In the books.
Mic drop.
Season 4. Bye.
That poorly. I was trying to I still got a cold.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon subscribers. Tay,
Evie Piscini
Miranda Bickers,
and Octavia Faith.
and a special thanks to our TiddySnake producers,
Alyka Fenderson,
Corrie Newton,
Tawny Marie,
and Brandi Tucker.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Ew, I hate how I said thank you. Thank you.
If you'd like to further support our show, you can find us on TikTok and Facebook as Your Mom's Padcast. We also have a Facebook group of the same name. And you can find us on Instagram at YMPadcast. Your Mom's Padcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscriptions and reviews are another great free way to support us. However, if you're interested in supporting us in not free ways, we have a lot of great bonus content on our Patreon, and some great merch at our shop, which can be found at your-moms-padcast-shop.fourthwall.com. And remember, that's Padcast. Pahdcast. Thank you.